Use integrations as a way to solve your biggest problems, and know that it might be some trial and error. You might have to try a few different tools within one category before you get the one that works for you and works with your existing system the way that you want it to. But would you ever use two of the same tools? Or tools that overlap and are seemingly competitors? Would that ever make sense? Wait a second, Salesforce and ActiveCampaign both offer similar tools, don't they? CRM and email solutions and other features overlap. Ernie, did you ask Peter about this?
Yes, he did. Roll the tape.
You know, Salesforce and ActiveCampaign both offer CRMs as well as email marketing and email automation tools, but there is still an integration between the two platforms. So in your opinion, you know, why might someone want to use both ActiveCampaign and Salesforce instead of one or the other?
When someone says to me, Salesforce, you make a CRM, and there's this other CRM, which one should I use? It's kind of like asking a mechanic with 5 different wrenches in his toolbox why he has more than one wrench. And the answer is because there's more than one kind of nut you want to turn in more than one environment. Among the most important things to recognize about Salesforce is that from day one, we always emphasized integration. When I joined the company, we were just beginning to do really serious things like, you know, REST and web services type stuff. And if you think of CRM not as a noun of a product that competes with other products, but as a process, as a goal of a company, well, the notion that I have more than one CRM doesn't seem any more strange than the notion that I have, you know, 2 wrenches in my toolbox.
Right.
They will have different things that they do in a way that a given organization finds familiar or more relevant. And if they can exchange data between them, then they're each more than the sum of their capabilities. The system that you wind up building can be a distinctive process that the organization can use to add value. There are lots of other reasons. You might have an organization that's grown by acquisition. And so you've got one group of team members who are just more familiar with one thing than the other. And either one can be a servant to the other. And in fact, one of them may serve as a data source for one, while the other is serving as a source for different data for the other. I think it's really important for people to recognize that at Salesforce, we emphasize we're not a technology vendor, we're a service provider, and we do build a lot of technology to support those services. But look at United Parcel Service. You don't pay them by the mile driven, you pay them by the delivery made. They're a service provider, right? Mm-hmm. They have trucks custom built to their specification, but you still wouldn't call them a trucking company, you'd call them a delivery service. And they don't refine their own gasoline and they don't make their own tires. You know, the idea that you assemble solutions out of a combination of built, bought, partnered, subscribed, and so on is one that we find very natural in most environments. The nice thing about what's happened in the software world over the last 10 years is that connectivity has become less expensive. Connectivity speed has grown. Software disciplines that allow for interoperability and robust API interaction instead of very brittle and complicated, you know, code level interaction are much more straightforward.
Right. And
it invites users to see us as pantries of ingredients from which they build the dish they want, instead of seeing us as competing restaurants where the question is, well, whose menu are you going to confine yourself to using? Have you designed the best possible customer experience, and given that, what integrations do you require? Mm-hmm. Not have you automated your activity, but have you optimized your customer experience? Not have you connected that data source, but have you made the information available that's necessary to make the customer's outcome better? Mm-hmm. And if you're always designing with the customer experience in mind, you will do things differently than if you're designing things to minimize the cost or maximize the throughput of your IT stack.
Yes. Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. We say a lot of similar things at ActiveCampaign and sort of shifting.
So I guess it comes back to that pesky customer experience. Different wrenches turn different bolts. There's a reason you have 15 different sizes of Tupperware in that one drawer or cabinet somewhere in your kitchen, right? Your situations change. You might find that one tool is great for a certain team or task and another seemingly similar tool is better for another. Remember, there is no all-in-one size fits all-in-one size fits all-in-one size fits all-in-one
Ernie,
size.
Snap out of it.
Oh, geez. Right. Sorry. What's interesting is that Thinkific actually used both ActiveCampaign and Salesforce and had them integrated. Now, what did that do for them?
One thing that's interesting, we are also during this episode talking to Peter Coffey, who is the VP for Strategic Planning at Salesforce. And it is my understanding that Thinkific has used the Salesforce and ActiveCampaign integration. So we have a rare opportunity here to kind of tie all of these things together. Can you talk?
How fitting.
Yes, absolutely. Can you talk through how you use the Salesforce ActiveCampaign integration?
Yeah, so I actually synced up with our sales team prior to this. And honestly, I know for them, using ActiveCampaign in conjunction with Salesforce in the past really allowed them to tighten up their workflow automations and just drastically reduce the time it took for our sales team to actually talk to the customers we had identified as leads. I know something that they're always raving about is how the UI itself of ActiveCampaign is so incredibly simple, but the complexity of the actual workflow automations that you can build allows for an endless number of possibilities. I know that before, when we were leveraging this integration, if a lead was created an ActiveCampaign, it then immediately synced up with Salesforce as a lead. So when our sales team had to get it in front of the customer, they had this full history of and rich data available to them of what emails were sent when. Did this lead open up this email? Are they aware of this this step that we took as a business? Do they know that these features are available to them? So I know our sales team absolutely just loved getting that full marketing history all in one place, and just getting the bigger picture. So when it came down to those conversations, they were a lot more meaningful. And I know that a salesperson could actually even assign an automation via Salesforce within ActiveCampaign, which is something we hadn't seen before. So just that level of integration between marketing automation and sales, we had never seen that exist in any of the other tools that we had used in the past. So that was definitely key for us. And it
Awesome.
honestly really brought the two teams together. I think when you hear about sales and marketing teams, it's kind of one versus the other. But I honestly feel having the integration between a marketing automation tool and a large sales CRM like Salesforce, it honestly forced us to work together. And that in turn ended up in a lot happier customers and more meaningful conversations at the end of the day.
That's so awesome to hear. I was actually just going to say the exact same thing. It's so often that you hear about marketing and sales being like oil and water, just being at odds with each other all the time. And that baton pass, right? When is a lead ready to go over to sales? And does sales think so? Does marketing think so? Are those the same thing? And having a tool or an integration between two tools that really works that way and kind of streamlines that whole process makes things so much easier.
Integrating two tools that do similar things but do them differently can have a profound impact on the customer experience as well as your business processes. Peter may have said it best.
We love our partners. It's funny to see how many people think that we're competitors with companies when actually they are among our biggest customers and we are among their customers as well. We're all trying to create value for customers here, and there are areas where we're going to be competitors, but there are many more areas in which we're complementary and all trying to solve the same problems.
Hi, thank you for watching. If you are enjoying Growth Decoded, you can find a link in the description to sign up and join the Grow team. You'll get exclusive content and opportunities that have to do with the show. You can also hit the subscribe button for ActiveCampaign's YouTube channel somewhere down here, and you will never miss an update from us.